This is my YSE, not mine. So it's got just put, it was seized actually. I managed to sort it out, honed it, put a new piston. Anyway, strainer, as they call it, and I thought it was a pump first to prime up the pressure, but it's not. It's quite clever actually. So the oil passes through it, and it has to pass through the middle and out through between all these what would you call them? Lost for words. Anyway, so I've been investigating the oil because I'm not getting any pressure. There's nothing coming out here because I've just put new shells in, and so I don't want to start it until I got some oil. So I put a load of oil in it, and I was cranking it over without the injector, and nothing coming out here. This is where the switch, that turns the oil light on. So eventually I'm gonna just pop that on actually. These are like really cheap. I think that's like 50mm across, and it screws straight in. Anyway, so I just want to let you know what I found out. So basically I've got some questions. I can't understand it because the oil level, which is probably down there, so to get up to the pump, which would just be like full of air initially, it's got to be sucked up, and it doesn't seem to be. I've heard also about these pumps, they're not very good design, and I'm just looking for it. So basically it's a little bit loose because it hasn't got a proper bush, in the casting it hasn't got a bronze bush, so it's running on a very short stem, which I've got somewhere. So it's not really good. It should be actually I'm going to maybe design something so it's supported on the outside, because no one's thought of that. People have tried to put a bush in, but if you get it in the wrong place, it has to be so accurate because it's got to be really just touching at the top. So I have found out, because you can't find anything in the manual, so I was spraying in basically this is the output. I'm pretty sure this is the output, and it lines up with the hole there, and it doesn't even line up. It basically, there's a mark on it which is not there anymore, and it was way over there, sort of this way. So that hole doesn't even mark, it's got the right gasket on it. So I'm thinking, I checked it with the gauge, and it's more like over there. So I might even get a little Dremel thing and scoop the edge out a tiny bit. So if you spray loads of this, I spray it up there, and it comes out into the pressure. and then it'll go on, won't it, to the crank. So that's the output. So that's the output. The input is basically when this thing fills up. So that's got to be filled up, which is not happening yet. And there's a hole at the side here, which is sort of further in. You can't put this on the wrong way, I found, because it's not a perfect triangle. And the other hole lines up just in the air, so basically it has to be completely full, because both holes are really close to the top. This chamber needs to be filled before you get any, mind you, this is before that. So I also so it goes basically this way, so it coming in this side, yeah, and I pushed this all the way down and I sprayed it. I can't see what's anything in there, but I sprayed like a quarter of a can, and it did actually start pouring out of the sump drain. So the left side is the pickup, and it's got to pick it up, but it's above the oil level, so I'm a bit stumped there. Obviously you get a bit of back pressure when the engine's running, which will kind of push a little bit, I guess, sump pressure. But I don't know what you do to start it. In fact, I'm going to, it's not on the level at the moment, but I'm going to fill it up. It's less than 2 litres, 1.9 I think it said in the book. So I'm gonna fill it up. I gave it a good spray, you know, just to make sure the gauze or whatever there is down there, I sprayed it all in there. So I'm actually gonna try putting, I've made a mad thing here that goes to the sump, and I'm going to sort of blow the engine up with a lot of pressure and see if I can get oil to show up here, because I've been cranking it over without the injector in and I'm not getting anywhere. I'm not even getting a drip. Anyway, that'll do for today. I just want to add a little correction. It's not 2 litres. It's only put 1 in and it's almost too much. So, got a bit of result. You have to put this on, otherwise you get kind of waterfall of oil coming out there. Anyway, so I've sealed everything up, and oh my god, see what's going on. Right, so this is a little bit of pressure. That's good to see, isn't it? It's a bit mad to have to do that, I must say. Here's a little oil pump, and it is a bit funny, isn't it? It's obviously very old-fashioned, and so it's got a very tiny little shaft. It's scored up, it's a bit loose, and it has to be held really accurately to get a bit of pressure. If it's like loose, you know, it's not going to seal down there. So I think I'm going to invent something, because it's not worth trying to, it's not, you know, put a bush in there, yeah, but it apparently doesn't work out, because they drilled it and it wasn't exactly centered. So I think I've got a great invention, because I'm a real genius, and that is, if that continued out, or maybe put a pin in it and then have another bush on the outside, and that'll be it, wouldn't it? And then I could have a plate on the outside between the other plate, nice plate, and you could have little slots, and then you could kind of just put a bit of pressure under it before you tighten the nuts with the original cover. So it'd be like a sandwich, and then you'd get the pressure, wouldn't you? Anyway, that's another. Might never do it. The oil strainer, which is that. Oh, I was going to do the hole, wasn't I? Maybe I'll do it later. So this, when you turn this, it kind of cleans it's really clever actually. It cleans itself out. So this is the cleaning part, and these are the strainers, and then the gunk collects in the bottom of there, and the holes are really at the top, so you can fill up with gunk without it going back into the engine, and it'll be ages before you have to take it off. It's really easy, and just like, you know, scrape it out a bit. So I managed to get this. I got the cover on here, and it should be full of oil now because I've been doing this. And it's starting to come out, so it's filled, and then it's going out the other side into that. So I'm going to put this on, and run the starter motor. Well, now there's oil in there, you know, it should bloody well work, shouldn't it? It should slowly fill this up. Because it has to be filled up before it'll go any further. Then hopefully it'll start coming out there at the top. So I've put a nice little chamfer on there, just on one side, with the little Dremel tool, just so it lines up a bit better. It's good, because literally it was like about less than a quarter of the circle was, I mean 3/4 of it was just blanked off, you know. So that's gonna, it probably doesn't really matter, because It's a lot of pressure, isn't it? Not much. Anyway, it's better now. So I'm going to pop that in that way. I really don't want to run. It's going to take ages to get oil up to the you know, the brand new shells. It's crazy. I'm going to just crank it and maybe get a bit of CO2, which I'm just using it all up, but I mean, I could try just doing that. I don't know if it's going to really, if it comes out the top, it'd be good. The air coming out the top. If I had it at home, I'd use a compressor, but I'm sacrificing all my gas. It's coming out there, is it? Oh, that's oil, water. Oh dear, why is water coming out? I haven't climbed up the head gasket yet. God, I can't turn it off now. I have to cut this quick. It was completely frozen, look. I don't know how much gas I've used. And frozen it. So I'm just going to do this until there's no load on it. There's no compression. Right, I'm just going to do this until I get some oil. Oh God, it's all hanging. There it comes. Oh my God. Oh God, you don't believe how relieved I am. Oh my God. Oh. Right, let's see what the pressure is. Oh my God. Right. See, I was paranoid. It wasn't that, didn't take long, did it? Must have filled up really quick. But it wasn't doing anything until I pushed. Sorry. Until I, you know, when there was just air in there, it was doing piss all. Anyway, so let's see if we've got pressure now. Oh God. Come on. Right, it's going up to almost 20. Right, that was about 15 or a bit more, which ain't bad because it was only doing about, you know what, 100 revs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yeah, about 100. Oh my God. I'll be able to get this bloody thing going. I'm under pressure as usual. Don't let yourself be pressurized.